Have you ever trusted someone so much that you gave them every piece of your heart, only to realize they were holding someone else's hand when they told you they loved you? That happened to me. My name is Anna. I'm 27 years old. And this is the story of how I lost the man I thought I spent forever with, how heartbreak almost broke me, and how, in the quiet corners of life, love found its way back through someone I never expected. So, sit with me. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to share isn't just about pain. It's about falling apart, standing back up, and learning that sometimes the ending you fear the most is just the doorway to a beginning you never imagined. I live in Savannah, Georgia. It's a peaceful city. Slow streets, tall trees, the river that moves like time itself. My days were simple. I worked as a graphic designer in a small office downtown. Posters, flyers, coffee in the morning, friendly hellos from coworkers. Life wasn't loud, it was quiet, steady, almost predictable. And then there was Daniel, my boyfriend. We'd been together for 4 years. I met him at a barbecue, and I still remember laughing at one of his silly stories. That laugh became the start of us. Soon, he was everywhere in my life, late night talks, shared meals, promises about the future. He'd bring me flowers sometimes. We'd cook dinner, watch TV, and talk about our day. He used to say, one day we'll get a house with a backyard and a dog. We'll travel. We'll build a family. And I believed him. I believed every word. I thought I had love. I thought I had trust. I thought I was lucky, but everything changed on one ordinary Friday night. I was washing dishes when my phone rang. It was Nina, my best friend since high school. Her voice was different, quieter than usual. She asked if we could talk. I said yes, and she hesitated. Then she told me what she had seen the day before. Daniel at the Riverwalk Cafe, holding another woman's hand. Her words fell into me like ice. My whole body went cold. I asked her again. Are you sure? She said yes. I tried to breathe. Tried to convince myself she was wrong. Maybe it was someone else. Maybe Daniel had a reason. But my chest felt heavy. My stomach hurt. That night I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, remembering Daniel's message the day before. He said he was in a meeting and couldn't call me. But now it didn't make sense. The next evening, Daniel came over. He smiled, carrying pizza, my favorite. He kissed me, asked about my day, started talking about work like nothing was wrong, and I watched him, smiling, laughing, pretending. Finally I asked, Daniel, were you at the Riverwalk Cafe yesterday? He froze, looked at me, looked away. Yes, my throat tightened. Were you with someone? Yes, he said again. Her name was Emily, she worked with him. And yes, he had held her hand. My world collapsed in that single moment. I asked him why. His answer was weak. He said he didn't know, that it just happened, that he liked her but still cared for me. Cared, not loved. I stood at the window, looking at strangers walking by, cars driving past. The world looked normal, but mine had shattered. I told him I needed time. He left. And that night, I cried until my body felt empty. The next morning, Nina came over with coffee and donuts. She hugged me. She said I didn't need to decide anything right away, but inside I felt hollow. I read old messages, looked at photos, replayed memories. His laugh, his touch, his promises. I kept asking myself, was any of it real? Nights were the hardest. The silence screamed at me. My eyes were swollen from tears. I'd lie in bed whispering, why wasn't I enough? But slowly something changed. One night, staring into the mirror, I saw my red, puffy eyes. But I also saw something else. I was still standing. I whispered to myself, I gave love. I gave trust. I didn't deserve this pain, and I decided maybe I couldn't control Daniel's choices. But I could choose mine. I cleaned my room, packed away his gifts, turned off my phone for hours, wrote in my journal letters I never sent, feelings I couldn't speak aloud. When Daniel called days later, I ignored it. When he texted that he missed me, I stayed silent, but then I agreed to meet him one last time. At the park by the river. He looked broken. He apologized, begged for another chance, said he didn't know what he had until he lost it. And oh, how my heart wanted to believe him, but I thought of those nights I cried. The trust he crushed. I told him, Daniel, I loved you. But you broke me. I can't go back, and I walked away. My legs were shaking, but I didn't stop. Tears blurred my vision, but my heart knew I was free. The days after were slow, heavy. But little by little, I remember myself. I painted again. I read books. I walked by the river. I listened to soft music, not to drown in sadness but to find calm. I wrote in my journal, I want someone honest. Someone safe. Someone who chooses me every single day. For the first time I started believing I deserved it. And then one quiet Saturday, I went to the library. I was reaching for a book on the top shelf when a man's voice said, Here, let me help. He handed it to me with a smile. His name was Will. And in that moment, something in me stirred, but I wasn't ready. Not yet. The first few times we met by chance at the library, once at a coffee shop, I almost walked away. I told myself it was too soon. Too dangerous. Yet every time, our paths kept crossing. Once, I was leaving the park as he was arriving. We exchanged a smile but kept walking. Another time, he was sitting at a cafe table, sketching quietly, and I almost went in but fear held me back. Each near miss built a strange tension inside me. Like life itself was waiting for me to be ready. Finally, one afternoon in the library garden, he sat beside me. We talked. About books, about art, about coffee. His voice was calm, steady. He didn't try to impress me. He just listened. That day, for the first time in months, I felt peace. We started meeting more coffee, river walks, quiet talks. Sometimes we didn't say much at all. And it didn't feel awkward. It felt safe. He never pushed. Never rushed. One day he said, You don't have to tell me anything you're not ready to share. I just like being around you. And I believed him. Weeks passed. I found myself smiling more. Painting again. Laughing with Nina. And with Will. Everything was slow, natural, gentle. I still had walls around my heart, but every conversation, every shared silence, every near miss that turned into a real moment. It was like he was carefully helping me take those walls down. One evening, sitting by the river, I looked at him and realized my heart wasn't broken anymore. It was healing, and maybe, just maybe, it was ready to love again. Will wasn't a rescue. He wasn't a replacement. He was proof that love could be kind, that trust could be rebuilt, that after the darkest nights, mornings always come. I don't know what the future holds with him, but I know this: I'll never lose myself again. I'll never settle for less than honesty, respect, and love that feels safe. Sometimes I still think of Daniel, but not with anger, not with sadness. I let it go. Because losing him wasn't the end. It was the beginning. And this is my story.